Disclosure Day does not show the people of Earth the right way, because we had people burning down New York City when the Knicks won. I really don't think we're going to be chill when we find out aliens exist. Just saying. Yes, we're talking about Disclosure Day, Steven Spielberg's new movie starring Emily Blunt. If you don't know me, I am Ant. I am your casual movie reviewer. I'm not like other movie YouTubers where I get hooked on film methods or pick one little thing about the movie and just tear it apart and say that it ruined the whole movie. That isn't me. I am a casual movie reviewer. I go in blind most of the time and I come back with honest, casual opinions. So let's talk about Disclosure Day. I didn't go in with many expectations. We didn't really see a lot of this movie, to be honest. Like, a lot of the trailers were the exact same scenes over and over and over again. And I thought that was pretty interesting because I really didn't know what I was getting into. Like, I knew this was an alien movie, but I didn't know full-heartedly what kind of alien movie. And I think that honestly was beneficial because this movie was actually pretty solid. Like, I went in with pretty mid expectations, and I think this did go over my expectations. If you don't know what Disclosure Day is about, it's about Daniel, who works for a company that has all the secrets of alien life and how they mistreat over the last 50 or 60 years. And he is on the run from a military company that is trying to stop him from releasing it to the public. And he thinks that the people have a right to know. So if you enjoy Steven Spielberg movies, this is a pretty common Steven Spielberg movie. Like, it is very full of life, and it's very introspective type of thing. Like, and you will probably leave this theater with a existential dread in a way. Like, this movie does get you thinking about what we would be like if we found out aliens were real, and they kind of and it does go into a decent type of thing where we have people saying, oh, we're going to look up to them as gods. We have people being like, no, we just need to know. We need to know. And there's just a lot of stuff in this that actually is kind of really interesting to look into as a human if we were to find out aliens did exist. And this movie does a really good job. So if you do enjoy alien movies, you do enjoy Steven Spielberg movies, if you want to get existential dread, this is a movie for you. So let's talk about some pros. This is a Steven Spielberg movie. This movie is shot beautifully. It looks great. I saw it in Dolby Atmos. The sound quality is amazing. The score is amazing. The acting is amazing. This movie is pretty solid film all around. And I don't have very many cons, so I think that's a plus for this film. So let's talk about cons. This movie is very, very long. It is 2.5 hours. I didn't know that going in. It's a very long 2.5 hours. Because there are some scenes that are a little boring that you really just don't need to be so long. But just be warned, it is 2.5 hours. It is a very long 2.5 hours. But that brings me into my other con. Like I said, there are some scenes that do or should have been cut shorter than they are. And I don't really think we needed a full 2.5 hours. But all in all, it's still a solid film. And I don't know if I can say, did the cast have fun for this movie review? Because I think the cast had I want to say they did have fun, but I think it was an experience. It was more of an experience for the cast, and you can kind of see that on the screen because, you're diving into something so interesting, so honestly could be realism type of thing, and it's just really interesting the way there are so many characters, so many side stories, and they all come together in such a way, and it's very introspective in people's lives, and I think that it is really interesting. So and it might have been fun for the cast, but I really do think this was an experience rather than just a day on the job for them. So we're gonna go over the standout moment of the film very quickly, because the standout moment of the film is actually the ending, because the ending is so just so, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm saying. There's not really words to express how it is. The ending of the film is the part of the film that gets you could feel the chills in the air, is what I can say. Everybody in that theater, I didn't have a packed theater, but even the 10 to 20 to maybe 30 people I had in the theater, you can feel the dead silence, the still in the air throughout the entire audience. And I think that's why it's a standout moment, because, and I'm going to spoil real quick, so if you don't want spoilers, dip out now. Okay, that's good enough. You can feel the chills when they finally show the aliens. You can feel the chill when they're showing the footage. It is very, could be realism, as I said before, because it's so, what it's introspective into your life as well, because you're thinking, and I'm sure some of the audience members were thinking, like, what would we do? What would we react if we knew aliens exist? If we saw this on the news, across the entire world news, what would be the feeling? And like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't think we would be this chill. Burn down New York City when the Knicks won. If we found out aliens existed, I do think there's going to be some extreme people out there, but you can just feel the chill and the stillness in the air when it came to that scene. So let's talk about answering big questions. Would I watch it again? Would I recommend it? And is it going to be better in streaming or in theaters? Would I watch it again? Honestly, it's not a movie that I would recommend going back and watching multiple times, just because it is so long. And I may watch it again down the line, but it's not something that I'm going to watch in the near future again. It might be a year or two before I do go back and see this film, but it is an interesting enough film that I would feel, that I want to go see it again in, a couple years or so down the line eventually. Now, would I recommend it? I would absolutely recommend it. It is quite interesting. It is very, I keep using that word, introspective into, realistic world and real life. So it is very interesting, and I do recommend it because it is not just for the cast, like I said earlier, it is an experience for the audience as well, and I think that does give it some fun elements to this film. Now, is this film going to be better on streaming or in theaters? I do think this film is going to be a film that is benefited watching it in theaters on the big screen, because especially in Dolby, the colors, the pop, the way it looks on screen is fantastic, and the sound quality in the score in itself is just absolutely fantastic. I do think this is something, if you got the money, go check it out in theaters. So with all that being said, I gave this film a 3.5 stars out of 5, and that's just because it is a very, very exciting movie with some of the content that it explores, but it is very long, and a lot of those scenes that I said are quite boring and should have been cut down make this film, like in some scenarios where I'm sitting there in the theater kind of like checking my watch, like, wow, is this movie almost done? But then you get those, really, really good scenes that do feel great, that give you that introspective realism, that give you, those chills in the air, especially that last scene. Like, this movie all comes together and it becomes a powerhouse of a movie in those last 10 minutes or so when we're exploring, that standout moment I talked about before. So let me know what you guys thought of Disclosure. Do you guys think that we would be as chill as, humans of Earth if we found out aliens were existing and real? And as always, guys, I will see you in the next movie review. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, check out the links below. Peace.